Good morning, Miss Buchanan's Algebra 1A class. Today is the 18th, and I'm looking at the exponent quiz. And I'm going to be going to the board because I'm going to be using what's used in class for the students that were here. So if you're needing a little bit of guidance on this, a little clarification, I'm going to offer that to you. A little bit of hopefully help for you. All right, so for number 1 and for number 2, I'm going to use the same procedure, but I'm going to use an example. Because if I use these, if I tell you one thing, I'm going to give you the answers for number 1 and 2, and I can't do that. So for number 1, I have an example, okay? And the example is right here, 2a squared b negative 3. Notice it looks just like your number 1, but with different numbers and different letters. The similarity is that the last part of the problem has a negative exponent. Look what I do with the negative exponent. I bring that variable with the negative exponent below into the denominator. I'm done. That's all I have to do. Number 2, and pause this as needed as you move forward. Same thing for number 2, you need an example. Notice this looks just like your number 2, just with different numbers and different letters, but I'm doing the same thing. You're going to do the same procedure for your number 2. This is the answer. I took the 2 with the negative exponents, threw it underneath, and that got rid of the negative exponents. Okay, now for number 3. For number 3, notice that you have just this coefficient, and so I just have 3 by itself, or you could think of it as 3 times 1. You know, there's kind of like a 1 there. But that was confusing some of the students earlier today, so I just left it at 3. I put my A's together and I put my B together. I don't have anything to put it together with, but so a little bit of help here. So 3, I have the 3, and then I have my A's, and I have B to the negative 3, right? So I started this off for some students. So you're going to have a 3 above the as the numerator in this fraction. You're going to make a fraction out of this. B to the negative 3 gets thrown underneath, and you get rid of that negative. Remember that for the whole test. When you're moving from the numerator to the denominator, or the denominator to the numerator, to get rid of the negative, what you're doing is you're getting rid of the negative. So please get rid of the negative. I had some people earlier, not get rid of the negative. And then the only thing you have to deal with here is that a2 times a2, a squared times a squared. So you're going to have an a here, and your numerator, or I'm sorry, your exponent is going to be 2 plus 2. And that's going to go right with that 3. And that's going to be part of the numerator. And then you have the B3, which I gave you as the denominator. Number 4 is going to be very similar to number 3. You have one coefficient that you're going to throw out front. I put my u's together for you. So you have negative 1 plus 2. If it's a positive number, that u goes on top of the fraction with the 3. And then I have just a v negative 4 by itself. So how do I get rid of that negative? What are you going to do with it? Okay. And so you'd have that fraction for number 4. Number 5, I'm going to take my 3 and my 2. I'm going to put it together. This 3 and that 2 I'm putting together. Okay. And multiply them. And notice I started this problem. I started the fraction for you. In fact, I don't need to make it so dang long, but I just didn't write the denominator. Okay, so and my h is just a 4 plus 1h, so that's going to be a 5h. Now you got to decide what you're going to do with your j. You have 0 minus 4. What is 0 minus 4? Where does that tell you to put your j with its exponent? And just so you know, k to the 0 power, that k to the 0 power that we had left over, anything to the 0 power is just 1, so you could just get rid of it. You could just get rid of that k to the 0 power. So hopefully that helps with number 5. Number 6. Number 6, notice that I have something to the power. I have 3v to the power of 2. So you're just going to square 3 and square 2, or square v. Square 3 and square v. And that's what I have here. I'm squaring 3 and I'm squaring v. So you're going to have whatever 3 times 3 is, and v to the second power, because v squared is v squared. 7 is the longest one. The longest one, it takes a lot. So what I did first was I got rid of the negative 4 by throwing it underneath. Now it's positive 4. Then in the next step, I'm taking care of this part right here, the inside parentheses. So I'm squaring 2 and squaring the n3. That's how that changed there. Then I'm taking to the 4th power everything that's in these parentheses. That's how I got here. Then I'm combining my like terms, my n. That's how I got here. There's one more step in this problem, and I want you to make that step. There's one more step. You're not done here. Okay? That's as far as I could take you. I'm taking you way too far to begin with. So hopefully, you get that help, and it's all good. Okay, so for number 8, have this problem here. What I'm going to first do is I'm going to take this and make it into a fraction. I'm just going to throw it over 1. So 2yx3, just throw it over 1 time, because this is going to be under 1 in order to get rid of the negative 1. So that's what I have on the board to start you off with. Okay. Now I'm going to put the 2 together. So I have 2yx to the third over 2xy. All I did was multiply that and multiply that. Boom, got this now. Now you can see that I crossed off stuff because 2 over 2 just cancels out. Y over y crosses out. And so I have x to the third over x. What does that end up equaling? Remember, you're going to subtract the 3 minus the 1 in order to get, it's just going to be one answer with x. So x to some power is what you're going to have for number 8. Okay, I really hope this was helpful on your exponent quiz, and good luck with this test.